I'm really strict about this. I think I tell my children, you drink when you're 18. I know that's not strictly true in terms of the law because you can have a drink at home with a meal. Apparently you can have a drink in a pub with a meal if you're 16. I find that really shocking. The question is why? Why would you want your children to drink earlier? It is not good for their body. It's not good for their livers. And more than anything, you don't want to acclimatise their palate to booze, because one of the reasons we don't drink as youngsters is because it just doesn't taste very nice. So why would you try to get your child to like something that isn't good for them? It's a no-brainer to me, this. We have to educate them. I mean, listen, I like a drink, as you know, Storm. So my children, or David Bull laughing on the screen there, my children know that I drink. And we have to be very careful, I think. It's not just about whether they drink, it's a behaviour we model to them is really important. And I think what I've slipped into a bit in lockdown, and this is where they're picking up kids, is this idea that stress is relieved by a drink. But it has to be really careful. It's been a difficult day. We've been homeschooling. Oh my God, I need a gin and tonic at 7 o'clock. That's a really dangerous message that I definitely have to ease back on giving my kids.
I do think it's a balance of risk, though. I would much rather that you introduce alcohol in a responsible setting with your parents there. And actually, with my nephews and nieces, they've often said to me, what does this taste like? And I've said, well, try it. And Bev's right. Children on the whole don't tend to like alcohol and therefore will put it back. They also pick me up and say, they call me drunkle because I'm like an uncle but just drunk. And they say, well, it makes you silly. And they're absolutely right in that. What I do think, though, is that in this study, I would be very nervous about, I don't know what the sample size was, and it's also an Australian study. And you've got to remember that different countries have different relationships with alcohol. The Nordic countries have an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, including the United Kingdom. And I would assume that Australia is pretty similar to that. So I'd like to see, what does the study show in Spain? What does the study show in Portugal? Because children there are brought up with alcohol on the table. And my friends who are Spanish and Portuguese, they don't drink nearly as much.